Hello, welcome to St Michael's Hill. Today is going to be an unboxing video and a bit of a review of this. It has arrived in the post this morning, courtesy of Colletts Models down in Exmouth. So firstly, I have to say I've been very happy with the service that Lee has given me. Well worth checking out. They have a payment plan and price match schemes and all this sort of stuff. So, you know, if you're looking for an independent model railway shop to check out, Colletts down in Exmouth are amazing. So thank you to Lee for sending this across. This is something that I've been kind of after for a while. I didn't think I'd be able to get, and then got the whisper that I would be able to get it from Lee, and spoke to him and he's managed to kind of sort me out. So massive thank you to him, and yeah, I'm going to unbox it and show you what it is. So here we go, this is what we've got. It's a couple of packs of the Revolution Trains 00 TEA tanker wagons. So should be one pack of the EWS Grey, which is this one here, and then this one should be the VTG Red. So yeah, let's probably get out one of each and have a look at them and show you what I think. So here we are, boxed up. Each of the triple packs has got 3 separately boxed wagons, and they look pretty great from where I'm sitting now. I'm going to get them out of the box and have a look at them. So here the wagons are unboxed and ready for review. Before I do that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the prototype. At the end of the 90s, VTG Rail were looking to replace some of their wagons that were getting towards the end of their operational life. This design of a 100-ton tank wagon was decided upon and was delivered at the beginning of the 90s. However, this exact model represents a model of wagon that was built and delivered a little bit later than that, into the 2000s. The wagons have been used from that date until today and are currently seen all over the network, running generally from refineries to fuel depot or refuelling points across the country. Smaller rakes of these can be found on petroleum runs to airports, but generally they are pulled in rather long trains between kind of 15 and 30 wagons, and tend to run daily services in places like Robeston and other refineries. For much of their lives, these have been pulled by Class 60 or 66 locomotives, as they generally need a lot of power behind them. These trains, when fully kind of loaded at between 20 and 30 wagons, are a very heavy train indeed. So it needs a lot of power, and generally I see these a lot being pulled by Class 60 locomotives from DB Schenker. So now we've got the prototype information out of the way, it's on to the review itself. I'm going to try and standardise a lot of my reviews going forward, so I'm going to look at some set categories and review each model on the performance based on those categories. So the first one of those is going to be the looks. The second one is going to be features, which may or may not be applicable for all models, but generally we'll be looking at kind of the finer details, anything that it comes with that is deemed as a feature. Livery application, so how the livery has been applied to the model and whether there's any inaccuracies or anything like that. Next will be build quality or quality control, so how does it kind of feel it's gone together, and are there any kind of errors or bits broken or missing. And then finally I'm going to look at value for money. As the hobby becomes more and more expensive, that's fine if what we're getting is actually value for that money. If it's not, then I believe it should be called out. So I'm going to be looking at that. So on to the first category. So generally, I really love the look of these wagons. They're definitely capture the prototype very well in terms of kind of spirit, and the level of detail is excellent. The bogies, as you can see, are filled with detail. The general kind of shape of the wagon is very good, and kind of they've even included kind of the weld lines where the tanks will have been put together. The walkways on top of the wagons are very good indeed. The detail on this kind of etched walkway is excellent, and as you can see, The filling caps have got a huge amount of detail as well. This detail kind of carries on around the front and down the ladders, so the ladder is great and has kind of warning panels and things like that, and picking out the white steps on the bottom of them is another nice touch. The bogie detailing looks very, very good, and that continues to the full underframe of the wagon. If I can just pull one of these up and show you, the underframe is full of kind of pipes and all other kind of equipment that the wagon has. So very, very impressed with that. The ends of the wagons feature kind of lamp iron hooks, so if you're going to be running these with tail lamps, there's somewhere for them to go. The general weight of the wagon is pretty good for a wagon. There's definitely a kind of a feel of weight to them, and once these are running in a full rake, there's going to be a fairly meaty train behind them. As you would expect with all modern wagons, the coupling is in an M pocket and is supplied with a small tension lock coupling. I will look to change these for KDs at some point, as I generally believe that they provide a lot better and more realistic running. There's not really any areas on the wagon that I don't think look great, where the sections to hold the wagons on look nice, and there's a nice angle to them. They're not just straight, which is very similar to the prototype. The highlight for me really is, though, this top walkway section with the filler caps. They really do look excellent. In terms of features on the wagons, it's difficult to really say they have too many. Obviously, as something that's not kind of DCC fitted at all, there's not really much that can be said about them in that sense, to be honest. I think the biggest features really are the level of detail that have been gone into. Like I said previously, the detail throughout is amazing, and generally I'm very, very happy with kind of how these look, and if detail is a feature, then these are very highly featured indeed, but there's no kind of gimmicks in terms of raisable anything, or it doesn't come with a end of train light or anything. The only other feature of note really is that these wagons are supplied with a couple of air pipes each for the brakes, and also a couple of spare wheel handles for the bogie detailing. So that's a nice touch. In addition, there is a pack of waterslide transfers that come with each of the wagons, although I'm not really sure what they're for, other than potentially looking to renumber them. So if you wanted to renumber these wagons, you could, or add additional detailing, but like I say, generally they're pretty well detailed themselves, so there shouldn't be too much need for that. The livery application on both the VTG Red and the EWS wagon have been applied wonderfully. It should be noted that the main colour of each wagon is base plastic, so there's not really a livery to apply as such, but where there are decals, for example, the EWS Beasties logos and the website kind of details are very well done for the large pieces, and then when it comes to the decals or details for the data panels and hazard warning signs, as well as the very small kind of details and warning signs on the very top of the wagon, everything has been done excellently. There's very, very crisp kind of work been done throughout, and generally there's no issues whatsoever. Like I said, there are additional decals supplied with each wagon if that's something that you want to look into, or you want to add further details, or even add them to a different wagon if that's something you need to do. So generally very, very well applied. When it comes to kind of quality and quality control, this is where I've got my only issue with a few of the wagons. So generally very, very good quality. You can feel that they're a proper chunky wagon, and most of this detail is very, very well kind of added. There's no kind of obvious mistakes, and everything is good. However, There was two of the wagons have basically been delivered with this section has fallen off. So it looks like on both they've just been kind of removed in the box. It's not something that is a massive deal. They can obviously be glued back on, but when something like that's loose in the box, it does. Yeah, it's a little bit of a shame, to be honest. I don't know if that's a case of they've been damaged in transit. Maybe that is, or a case of it wasn't quite checked properly in the factory. Although it would suggest that because they're in the box, it's probably the former, and that it's happened during shipping. But it doesn't say too much about the packaging if two of my 6 wagons have been slightly damaged in transit. It's not a massive problem in terms of they're very easy to fix and put back on. There are, lug holes where they've come out here, as you can see. So it shouldn't be difficult to reapply them, just a spot of super glue. But, it's not something that is something you want to see. But, it happens. As models become more detailed, there are more small parts that can become dislodged. So now it's a question of value for money. These aren't cheap wagons, and most large bogie wagons these days aren't. These were in a triple pack around about £45 per wagon. So for a rake like this, it's not cheap to put together. However, if you look at the recent Helgen BOC wagons, I think they're £75 each. And so in comparison to that, yes, these certainly are better value. However, they're not generally available anymore. Like I said, they sold out pretty much instantly on pre-order with Revolutions. There were a few shops who got orders in, and most of those sold out very quickly. I was very, very lucky that Colletts Models had some, and that they were willing to offer a fair price. I think there's other stores at the moment that are offering them for a little bit more money, to reflect that the prices will have gone up. So it's good that I found them at the price I did, and I feel at that sort of price they represent an okay value for money. They're a very, very detailed wagon, but you pay the price for it, and that's fine. I think modelers don't mind if you're paying top dollar for a top quality product. However, they're going on eBay triple pack like this for over £200, and at that point I think it's getting to a realm of it's not necessarily great value for money. But that's just the market, that supply and demand. Revolutions have effectively not made too many, and they're becoming very rare now, so it's what you pay for. I will quickly grab an older Bachmann TEA that are available for kind of the £30 or £40 mark, and we can have a quick comparison. I think that's probably the fairest thing to do when it comes to value for money. So bear with me and I'll be right back. So here we go as a comparison. Now, it should be said straight off the bat that these two models do not represent the same prototype. So it's not a case of looking for something that's there on one and not on the other. It's just not like that. But we are looking at a bogie tank wagon from Bachmann that is, a similar sort of wagon. And so let's look at the detailing. If we look at the top of the wagon, you can easily see the difference there between the detail and the definition around the kind of the filling points, but also the walkways. The model itself is a lot lighter. I say a lot lighter. It's significantly lighter. It's not a lot, but you can see the difference. In the buffer detailing, you can see there's just a bit more kind of detail in that. The ladder on the Revolutions trains one is a separately fitted part. The one on this Bachmann version is moulded into the end of the wagon here. But generally there are separately fitted parts. There's some metal panels here, and generally all in all there is extra detail. The bogies, they're nicely detailed, by no means are they quite to the same standard, but at the same time it's still a very nice kind of bogey moulding. The detailing on the hazard warnings and the data panels are generally very good as well. Maybe not quite as fine as these ones, but generally everything's legible. There are less kind of warning panels and warning marks, so nothing like this is featured on this one here. So yeah, generally it's a well-detailed model, but not quite to the same standard. The underframe there is a fair bit of piping, and it's probably, if anything, similar to what is on the Revolutions Trains one. However, the detailing on these ones is just slightly more fine. The little kind of pipes are just that much thinner, that much more noticeable. So what do these retail for? Well, generally the Bachmann TA seems to retail for kind of around the £40 mark, and this one a little bit more at 45. So I think it's fair to say that the Revolutions Trainers one is value for money at the price that they were made available for. So overall, what are my thoughts? It's a very, very nice wagon. There's no denying that whatsoever. The livery application is wonderful. The detailing is great. Like I said, the only downside for me on these was the slight damage that I'd had on a couple of them. Now, it's probably just to do with the postage, and so possibly the only thing that could be improved is the packaging that they come in. Speaking to Revolutions, if these are going to be available again, it's not going to be for another couple of years. They wanted to reward people who kind of supported the crowdfunding on the project, which is absolutely fair enough. Imagine if they do come back, they will probably be a lot more expensive. They're made by Rapido over in the States, and I think since these were made, the exchange rates and all that have probably not helped in the favour of producing a cheap model. So I think if these do come back, they're going to be looking at more towards the kind of £60–70 per wagon. And I think if that is the case, then maybe it's better to look at Cavalax's version. They are at the moment on pre-order for another week or two, I think maybe 2 weeks, and they are at a lower price of around £35 per wagon, I believe. So if you're looking for some TAs and these aren't available to you, then by all means check out the Cavalax website, and their new TA looks very good as well. However, if you can pick these up, then do. Like I said, I got these from Colletts Models. I'm not sure if Lee has any left. It's probably worth giving him a call at the shop to find out. Thanks very much for joining me today for this review video. I will leave you with some running shots of these on my layout, and I will see you very soon on St Michael's Hill. Thanks. Goodbye.